this is what happens when markets come first. This is what happens when profits trump human need in our society. And the state reels from one crisis to another, like Sideshow Bob stepping on rake after rake in the Simpsons. We all know the ship is sinking, but the captain is announcing over the intercom that passengers should keep their cameras at the ready for a closer look at some of the more scenic features of the Antarctic. My experience last night has been a microcosm of the deep crisis facing the Irish state. Having been assaulted by private security under the watchful eye of the Public Order Unit while protesting the worst crisis in the history of this state, I was taken to A&E in the Maher and told that due to the shortage of staff, I would be waiting 13 hours to receive 4 stitches in my hand. Now, Blind Boy posed the question this morning in his podcast. Was this a conscious attempt by the state to put out a terrifying paramilitary image of the Irish police protecting brutal thugs, as if to almost deter people from engaging in the housing crisis or even protesting? Or was it just a bunch of thick bastards hired for the job? But the key factor in all of this, as everyone here should know by now, is the role played by the police in supporting the private security, allowing them to assault activists peacefully protesting. This is a conscious attempt to deter a newly radicalised layer into action. And people here are well aware of the fights we've been facing in the last years. The water charges that we won on, repeal, marriage equality. This is a radicalised Ireland, a new layer of activists who are coming onto the scene. Least we forget what happened in Jobstown and the conscious attempt made by the police and the state to deter people from engaging in peaceful protests. Least we forget the Garda Commissioner scandal and how we know now that it's not just a few rotten apples at the top of the barrel, but it's the whole fucking barrel that's rotten. There is a conflict of interest. There is a conflict of interest when 3/4 of the Dáil have a vested interest in private property. The problem with precarity, the problem with existing and renting in an overpriced housing market, is that the instability and division of the working class is the very thing that props up the rack-renting landlords and political establishment. Without a unionised workforce, our problems seem to belong to us as individuals. The unions were smashed by Thatcher in the 1980s, and we can draw a line in the sand with the defeat of the miners' strike, and we see now the state of the unions in this country. Occupations like Summerhill, North Frederick Street, the 24-hour occupation on O'Connell Street in Waterford, the family resisting eviction in Coolock, and now this are beacons of hope that have been lit up by a small layer of activists and community organisers across the country. In a time when we have been left in the dark, we are playing our part in lighting the way. But unfortunately, lighting the beacons in this instance is not as straightforward as Gondor calling for aid in Lord of the Rings. Now it's the working class, people in direct provision, trans folk, the travelling community and all oppressed minorities who are calling for aid. And we are the ones who will have to answer. Leo has told us that it's a complex issue. It's not black and white. And fair play to him for being honest when we know how many TDs are landlords and when we know the profits are being made off this housing crisis. This is a class issue, and maybe that's something a blue shirt wouldn't like to acknowledge. This is about tenure. It's about what kind of homes we want to build. And we don't care if Owen Murphy tells us that he's going to build 100,000 homes, because there is going to be private homes in these estates, and we say no to private housing in social, affordable housing estates. When housing is allocated according to the market and not according to need, you're going to have a problem. I'm going to finish up on this. The support for the political establishment in this country is at a historic low. The combined support for Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael is dropping below 50%. They used to hold between 80 and 90% in the 1950s. A vacuum is opening up in society. Mass anger is boiling over. And we need massive investment in affordable social housing. And this will only come through mass pressure from below. And this is how we will achieve this. And that's what I'm looking at right now. When you have simmering discord and simmering discontent in society, all you need is a spark to set it off. We can be that spark. Housing is a human right.
This is why we have to fight.
Housing is a human right.
This is why we have to fight.